So if you're looking for LSU's fiercest rivalry, you can go in a number of directions. You can go toward Tuscaloosa, you can go toward Arkansas, and you can go toward Oxford, Mississippi. So that situation there involving Hugh Freeze and now Matt Luke has captivated the college football world. Matt, I know that you've got a number of perspectives on this from your own standpoint of being an expert on SEC football, plus the people that you've talked to that are closer to the situation. So what a shocking turn of events, as we expected the NCAA to rain down on Ole Miss concerning Hugh Freeze's conduct in regards to recruiting and other conduct involving football, and then all of a sudden the slap in the face, and it has to be just a huge shock to Rebel Nation.
I think most people expected Hugh Freeze to lose his job eventually. I don't think there are many people that expected it as abruptly and for the reason which he was fired, or that he was forced to resign. Ole Miss is in kind of a precarious situation right now because as a program collectively, they're feeling pretty vulnerable. And now they have this interim coach that's wrapped his arms around him as a former player who said it's his dream job. It's actually very similar to what LSU went through with Ed Orgeron last year. And, Matt Luke is in a tough spot, but he's almost in a can't lose spot as well, because I think the expectations aren't going to be here. I can't see this Ole Miss team in 2017 getting above 500. They not only lose a bunch of talent, but if you remove a head coach that is dynamic, that is considered a really talented, forward-thinking head coach, and you try to brush it off as, well, the rest of the staff is still in place and all the players are still there, and they'll just continue on status quo, that's counterintuitive to everything we've been taught to believe in college football, that coaches matter. Look, the New Orleans Saints went through this with Sean Payton in 2012 when he missed the year for Bountygate. That was a playoff team in 2011, maybe the best Saints team ever. And then in 2012, they're 500 and missed the playoffs without Sean Payton. Payton's back in 13, they're back in the playoffs. Coaches matter. And this Ole Miss season isn't going to be good. Now, my big question moving forward is Ole Miss going to do what LSU did? Are they going to hire their interim, the guy that got his dream job and is maybe the comfortable choice? For Ole Miss's sake, I would hope not, because that's a better job than most people are going to think right now. Resources to pay $4, even $5 million a year for a coach if they want. They're in the SEC West, but also whoever takes that job is going to do so knowing they're going to get a grace period, because especially if the NCAA hands down further sanctions, scholarship reduction, or bowl ban, a second-year bowl ban, nobody's going to be expected to take that job and win immediately. So whoever takes it knows they're going to get a 3-year grace period before the clock really starts ticking against them. So I think that Ole Miss job is going to be very desirable for people, even amid the sanctions that are coming down and all the hullabaloo surrounding Hugh Freeze going out. For Ole Miss's sake, I would hope that they don't settle and hand the job to an interim and Matt Luke, and they go find someone who's a proven program builder, because that's what they need.
I also think, Matt, that Penn State has become the role model for recovery. So I would in no way ever compare the transgressions at the two universities. But in regards to what most of us thought, I'll not speak for you, but what Penn State football was going to be in the aftermath of that situation, I thought, who above a 3-star is going to go to Penn State if they can go to Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, or wherever they want to? How are they going to recover and be able to retain football talent when they can't sell them postseason play, a championship, and just the stigma surrounding the university and everything that's being said about it? I figured this program's going 3-9 for the next 5 years, and they didn't even suffer a losing season. So as long as this NCAA decision can come down soon, and I believe it needs to come down and will come down before sometime in November, I think that the new coach in place is at least going to be able to sell the recruits, okay, we know what we have to deal with. It's all said and done. We know what's in front of us. We know what the challenge is. And so now we can get to work.
there's typically always a lull in recruiting when a new coach comes in, because when a new coach is hired, be it at the end of November or in December, it's a very compressed period to try to put together a signing class for February. But whoever that is, that new coach is, I wouldn't expect immediate success in recruiting or on the football field. But you mentioned Penn State. They went and got the right guy. They went and got Bill O'Brien. And while he ultimately left for the NFL, Bill O'Brien made that job better for the next guy, who was James Franklin. So, and of course, James Franklin now has won a Big Ten title. I'm curious to see if Ole Miss goes for a steady, calming presence that might be a 3 to 5 year fix to make the job better for the next guy, or if they try to make a play for someone. I'll give you a name, Colorado. This guy's from Miami. He played at Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech. He was an assistant at Ole Miss from 99 to 02. He's been a head coach at 2 spots, San Jose State. He took over a disaster of a program in 3 years, got him to 10 wins. Goes to Colorado, which had a decade of just awful football and off-the-field scandals with Gary Barnett and Neuheisel before him. If you look at 4 years in Boulder, and McIntyre's gotten them to 10 wins and a division championship, that's a guy who, if you go dangle $4 million and say, hey, come home to the SEC, his dad was a coach at Vanderbilt. If you say come home to the SEC, that's a guy who may set up shop and stay for the next 10 to 15, make you a consistent contender in the West.
No, it's a good thought, because if you can win at Colorado, where you have almost no football talent surrounding you in the area or in the surrounding states, you've got to go to Texas, California. You can certainly go to Ole Miss, where per capita Mississippi is about as strong as you get when it comes to football ability. All right, good stuff from Matt Moscona. Join him on ESPN Baton Rouge in New Orleans. Matt, we always appreciate the time. It's a great discussion.
My pleasure, Mark. Thanks.